Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Star Wars The Bad Batch figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at the shiny, the clean version of the Clone Commando. I don't know why it took them so long to give us this, but he's here now. I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button so you're notified as soon as brand new Star Wars content goes live. As for the box art, up front, an image of the actual figure, two in fact, another one on the glossy Bad Batch coloured wraparound banner, and a metallic foil Star Wars logo. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs, they're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. On the side of the box, more figure photography on the wraparound banner. I see we're still going with button cell batteries for the light-up visors. Around the back, warnings, legal information, and Hot Toy store locations. One of the main reasons I was so excited to get this, love this image by the way, and I can see Scorch just in the background there, is because not only does this work as a start of Republic Commando version of Boss, but it also can be a stand-in for your Battlefront shelf, because you can play as Commandos in this plain white looking armor. First in-hand impressions for him, so far he's pretty much the exact same thing as all of the other Commandos, just without their markings. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, it's the same mold as usual with the Imperial look flooring up top, but it's the new paint job style with the silver hairline scratches, the bigger chip sections, and gunmetal as the base color. I hope they keep doing the weathering because I really like the way it looks. Up front, Star Wars and Clone Commando on the nameplate, then up top, a height adjustable wide scoop crotch grabber. It's not really an accessory, it's more so just part of his outfit. His Clone Commando backpack, dig the pops of red on the outside, the grey at the bottom, and it's foam padded around the back to protect his armor when you pop this on him magnetically. You can open it up and store some of his spare accessories inside. I tend to do that with hands, maybe those thermal detonators as well. Or maybe they're droid poppers. Could go either way really. I like to pop the half one on the base just for some extra visual interest down there, but the full one, you can have him holding this. There's some sculpted detail up front in the indented section, red paint app for what would be the light, black wash over everything to give it this slightly oil-stained, dirty look, and there's some sculpted ribbing on what would be the activation switch. Oh, they have heavily weathered the silver sections. They are covered in schmutz and just grossness. This is a well-loved, well-used blaster, and to be totally honest, I wouldn't mind if they just kept painting Clone Commando blasters like this. Removable magazine on the side. You can also slide the front bit off, but unfortunately, they didn't include any other attachments. DC-15S is interesting. Not sure why it's here, but you know what? I'll take more accessories than less any day of the week. Rubbery iron sights so they won't break on you. You can bring this piece down, but not back. You could maybe force it over the handle, but I'm not willing to do that. They've tightened up the tolerances so it doesn't flop down anymore. And it's painted in gunmetal with a light silver dry brush over the top and some pops of color on the rivets. But Hot Toys, you really need to start giving us more hands or reducing the price of your figures, because we used to get so many Clone Trooper hands, closed fists, field signals for both sides. Now we're left with some subtle weathering on the back hand armor, matte black for the gloves, these are just relaxed open palm hands. Then 2 trigger finger ones, prying them open to pop the blasters in there. Quite challenging. I would suggest heating them up first. And a pointing finger hand for the left, fingers splayed out open palm hand for the right. That's it. No closed fists with the blade sticking out. This is a Commando after all. No 2-finger point, no other field signals, no pairs of these. Abysmal array of hands in my opinion. What we're going to do now is get the clone Commando himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. For now, stay tuned towards the end of the video. That's when we'll do some posing, get the camera moving more dynamically, and we'll just have fun with this piece. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. With him just rotating around in front of us, proportions look about on par with the other clone Commandos. The sculpt for the armor is exactly the same. There's less markings, but there's some decent weathering. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. If you've got any of the other clone Commandos, you know exactly what to expect. This, pure paint by numbers for them. It's rinse and repeat. Grab existing molds already in rotation, strip off any markings, chuck some weathering on there, call it a day. Up close and personal, this is a lot of reuse. They are well and truly getting their money's worth out of this mold. If you've got Boss, if you've got Scorch, if you've got the Imperial Commando, this is the exact same thing as them without the markings or unique parts and pieces. They've stripped him back, plain white, but they've added some battle damage over the top. Kicking things off with his bucket, same mold as always, including the light up effect powered by button cell batteries. You remove the top of the helmet, held in place with a magnet, flick the switch, then the visor lights up. Even without the LEDs turned on, because of the way the visor has been printed and it's glossy on the surface, it stands out against the matte finish for everything else, and it sort of looks like it's lit up. I don't have button cell batteries in any of my Commando buckets, but I have seen a fusion reactors kit, so I am contemplating maybe wiring them up, having their visors on long term in the display. I'd love to do it, I just don't know how feasible that is or how necessary it is to have wires coming out of all my Commandos for the sake of a little light up that doesn't really change the look of him too much anyway. Around the backpack held in place with a magnet, and his armor is fully detailed, weathered, it's got chipping on it, underneath the backpack, just in case you decide not to display him with this. You can open the flap even when he's wearing it. Just be mindful that this is hard plastic, this is hard plastic. Any collision can cause paint rub. This ribbed, leathery looking collar piece that sits underneath the chest armor but over the top of the fabric undersuit, at first I thought it could be pleather. When we got the Imperial Commando, now I know better. The thinness of the material, the crispness of the detail, this is probably PVC plastic. That's how they could get it to look as good as it does, but be as flexible as it is. So the shoulder pads, they were flared out sort of like this. Out of the box, they looked a little goofy. It might be animation accurate, but I don't like that look. So they're on Velcro and elastic straps. You can peel them off, adjust them, get them to sit down and flush, then push them back in place, lock them in. This is my preference for the position of the shoulder pads, but you can do whatever you like, really. Bicep guards are separate pieces. You can move them around. Same thing with the gauntlets, although you want to bring them down to cover up the wrist pegs. And we've got a full, stretchy, spandex, ribbed fabric undersuit, so you can go crazy with the poses, leave him in dynamic poses, nothing is going to get damaged. So one of the biggest complaints with these clone Commandos is they're reusing the Hunter body. And a lot of the Hunter armor bits and pieces, that Bad Batch look is very specific. Thin, skinny waist, a little bit broader at the torso, broader at the shoulders, but everything is a little bit too accentuated, if you know what I mean. I would have preferred more bulk, but I am coming around to these skinnier looking clone Commandos. In the right pose, they can work. Sounds like a cop-out saying, in the right pose, it can work. You shouldn't have to rely on very specific poses to get your figures to look good, but I'm just trying to work with what they're giving us. I would much rather have this than no clone Commando at all. Maybe one day they'll do 2.0 Commandos specifically from Battlefront. That I would be totally down for. The armor plates for his legs are adjustable. If you don't like this big gap, you can push them up and close it up a little, but they tend to slide down anyway, or you could just bring the crotch armor down, but then that makes his waist look a lot skinnier. It's a game of just moving bits and pieces to try and get this guy to look as good as possible. The knee pads, they're on elastic straps, you can adjust them. Then a split cut boot design, so you can move the feet around independently to the boot guards. There's plenty of weathering on top of the feet, but for some reason on the underside, pretty much none. For a quick side-by-side comparison, this will be very quick because Imperial Commando on the right is exactly the same as the new Clone Commando on the left. The only difference is the paint job. Going over articulation will be relatively quick because, let's be honest, you've seen one Clone Commando's articulation, you've seen them all really, just the name of the game when it comes to clones. Ball joint at the base of the articulated neck, double ball peg underneath the bucket itself. Looking forward to there, looking up to there before the helmet collides with the back armor, swivel, and some pivot side to side. Shoulder pads on Velcro and elastic straps. They're flexible enough that they move out of the way for the arms, no problem, going up to there. Forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow on ratchets going past 90, then for the wrist peg, it's a ratcheted hinge and swivel. The torso has always been collision central, and it still is. Chest plate over the ab armor, then crotch plate over it as well, so crunching forward, restricted to there, going back to there, further than forward at least, but not by much. Swivel, and a little bit of pivot side to side. Legs will go forward to there. You can rotate the thigh armor, get a couple more clicks out of them, but they do hinge out at the same time as going forward. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knees on soft ratchets, going way past 90. Then a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back, rotation, as well as ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing, much to nobody's surprise, I'm sure, I will be continuing my fight against Hot Toys taking away Clone Trooper hands. We get even less than usual. No closed fists. How easy would it have been for them to give us a switch-out hand armor plate with the blade coming out of it on some closed fists? But now you can't even do that yourself. You can't even customize that into existence because they don't give you fists. The second annoying thing, I didn't expect them to do this, but it would be so cool. Imagine if the entire backpack housed the electronics inside of it for the light-up visor. This big chunky piece of plastic, and you can open it, insert some batteries, have power transfer through the back of the figure with a magnet into the helmet, then the visor could light up. But no, they've gone with button cell batteries. The third annoying thing is a super minor one because it looks great in the grand scheme of things, the battle damage. Because of the way they print it on the surface, it's all uniform across the entire batch of Clone Commandos, so if you're planning on army building these, every single one of them will have the exact same scratches in the same places. The first cool thing, he looks better with the lights turned on, of course, but thanks to the way the visor has been printed with this gradient effect to it, it almost looks like it's illuminated, even with the LEDs turned off. The second cool thing, I love my functional Clone Trooper backpacks because you can store some of his spare accessories inside of it, and that way when you want to change up a pose, you don't have to go rifling through accessory tubs or drawers or look through storage to find the figure's box. Most of his stuff will be stored on him in his backpack. The third cool thing, they are sticking with the weathering on their Star Wars bases, the hairline scratches, the bigger silver chips. This is what we were getting, plain gunmetal with a little bit of weathering. This is the new and improved version, and it looks like it's here to stay. Wrapping up on Hot Toys, Star Wars The Bad Batch, The Clone Commando. Is this a must-have? Absolutely not. But is this a nice-to-have? If you're a Battlefront 2 fan and a Republic Commando fan, because at the start of the game in Republic Commando, Boss, the character you play, was a shiny, this can sort of represent him, then maybe. That is the reason why I got this. So at the end of this, if you, like me, are very impatient and you would much rather have a representation of the Clone Commando on your shelf that's still decent, cop this. if you're holding out hope for that perfect version, then maybe you might want to keep waiting. There's enough good stuff going on here to warrant the pickup, but just be aware of the hang-ups and flaws that have existed with this mold since the very first Commando, the Imperial one, also from the Bad Batch. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.